Hello and welcome to my show. My name is Madison Star Moon. Tonight we have a very special show planned. Our guest speakers are going to be Doug Seitz, Kevin LaPrade, Baise McGee from Red Pill InfoWar, and our special guest, I am thrilled, honored, so excited to have him on again, is Peekay, also known as Peekay Boston, Peekay Melbourne, Peekay Truth, Peekay 22, and on and on. Peter's channel has been shut down for the final time by YouTube. This is completely disgusting censorship at the worst level. So I'm very happy to have him on tonight to tell everybody what has happened to all of his years of work, his hundreds, if not thousands, of videos exposing false flags, chemtrails, and a wide variety of other aspects of this heinous agenda. So with that being said, I want to welcome Peekay to the show. How are you doing, Peter?
I'm doing okay, Madison, but I'm going to go now. I just want to hear you say how much you love me. That's all I wanted to hear. I'm going to go.
Yep, I love you.
I know. I've heard it a few times already, but I love you too, Madison. You're wonderful. Thanks for having me on again. I'm not sure when we spoke last. It hasn't been this year, has it? Because there's so much that's happened here.
No, it's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I really want to tell you, I've gone through some horrific times here, and I want to share it with you people there. It's to do with what's happened here in Melbourne. You probably aren't aware of it. So we've got plenty of time to talk about that. So, yeah, thanks for having me on again.
My pleasure. I can't wait to hear what's happened. I mean, I'm really devastated to see that all your videos are gone. So what's going on?
Oh, well, all right. We'll get to YouTube, ScrewTube, YouTube, whatever you want to call it. We all hate it immensely. YouTube, Google. Since Google has taken over YouTube, what was about 3 years ago? Can't remember, but it's never been the same. I have had 5 channels terminated in the 6 years. Six years I've been doing this. I want to say 5. I've had 4 actual channels removed, and 1 I had actually reinstated, luckily, because I appealed some strikes on it. So really 4 channels, and I'm not sort of pulling, big note myself, but it's a lot of hard work, as you know, Amanda. It's virtually a daily thing. You wake up in the morning and you want to do something, and all of a sudden there's something's happened, other side of the world, and you just can't help yourself. And before you know it, it's night time, and you've spent freaking the whole day, doing research and trying to, tell the world the lies that we've been told. But cut it short, just go through from the start. You realise that we actually met early on because all I was concentrating on was chemtrails. I spent over 2 years virtually working on it every day. I haven't done much lately on it because, to be honest, I don't know. It's died off here. There were a lot of people that followed me here in Melbourne and in Australia that actually started doing their own work, and I'm not really sure what's going on. But it doesn't seem like there's hardly anyone doing anything anymore. It was just like a thing that went through, and that's why I got to admire you, Madison, for the work you do. It's non-stop, and it's just amazing. Looking at your videos in the last weeks or the last few days, where you've gone out and interviewed people, I find that fantastic. I'd be doing the same thing, but the problem here, we don't actually see chemtrails hardly anymore. I don't know what's going on. I don't go out much, but a friend of mine who spots them as well, he says he can't. It doesn't seem like we used to, but we get excited when we see one chemtrail go over. But by God, seeing what you have in Virginia Beach, it's just friggin' unbelievable how people can't see what's up there. Like, I made a comment, as someone looked up and says, "Oh my God, I've never noticed this before." And I said, "You got your head up your ass, mate? Surely the whole sky's covered in tic-tac-toe, and it's just amazing. You're filming it, and there's just one plane going here, and another one going there, and another one going there all at the same time. And I mean, it's just ridiculous. But so that's it on chemtrails. But in regards to my channels, like I said, it's how do I explain this? Over the years, you get a strike now and then, you get a copyright strike, but all of a sudden, I believe this happened. The Bilderberg meetings, the once a year get together of the powerful elite, whatever. I don't call them elite. I call them filthy, dirty scum. In their gathering where they, hire a place out somewhere, different place in the world. I believe that 2 years ago, or the meeting was just recently, so just over a year ago, Google were big people there. They had the big people, Google people represented there, and I'm sure they were discussing there the move for them to silence people. I mean, they're not getting desperate. We're awakening a few people up, but it's not really getting to the stage where we're awakening the whole world up. But I think that they decided it was time. Well, we're going to silence what we call as truthers, or whatever you want to call us, truth activists. And I think Google were there again this year, but I didn't follow it up. But you can tell what's happened in the last 6 months or so, where all of a sudden car and truck attacks. I think you can probably say Nice was the big start of all that, where supposedly over 300 people were hit by a truck. And as usual, we don't see one single footage of any person being hit by any truck. This went on. He went everywhere. Went to Stockholm. Went to even in America, in Times Square. But most importantly for me, they staged an event here in Melbourne on January the 20th. But within minutes, the police said it wasn't a terrorist attack. I mean, how they could come up with something like this is just absolute garbage, because we know it's all garbage. But yeah, it wasn't a terrorist attack, even though we had some idiot interviewed by someone on TV going, the guy was going, "Hello Akbar," so, you don't know what's going on. It's just, it's pathetic. But police within seconds said, no, it's not a terrorist attack. Terrorist attack. They just scripted how they want. But I'll get to Melbourne in a second. But what happened recently is, there was two events in London. There was one over the Westminster Bridge, and there, not long after, there was another one on the other bridge. And Theresa May, the Prime Minister, come out and said, yes, ISIS, we're going to stop all this ISIS doing all their planning, whatever, for these car events on YouTube, on social media. So they want to clamp out on social media. That's their plan. That's their plan, and I'll get to Melbourne. That was part of their agenda there. They want to make this idea that anyone that speaks out against the government or even the media, mainstream media, is an extremist or a terrorist. I don't know what the difference is. I still don't know what those terms mean. Something that they just started ever since 9/11. But yeah, so what they've probably done is told Google, we want you to silence all the truthers, and Google obviously has obeyed their orders. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm big or anything, but I was one of the first channels hit. My Peekay Truth channel. I had over 10 million views. I had 970 videos. I reached 20,000 subscribers in a year. And like I said, it's a hell of a lot of work. We do it for nothing. I mean, that was gone. Then I had my PK22 channel, which I'd left there from previously, and that was the only option. I went back to there, and bang, that was gone within 2 weeks. And then I thought, who's doing this? And we sort of figured out with some nobody channels that were flagging us, but there's no way known. Some tiny channels could be flagging us and removing our channels. And I'm not sure if you know Sidethorn. Do you know Sidethorn?
No.
The guy that's put up $100,000 for anyone, prove that anyone died in Sandy Hook, and in just about every one of these hoaxes.
Awesome. Yeah.
Amazing guy. He is got a partner called Conspiracy Granny. I think he's in Austin, Texas. Don't quote me on that, but I think he's in Texas. He actually went to the Google place in Texas, but it's nothing. It's just like an arm of Google, just like a retail store or something. He demanded that my channel be reinstated with some another guy, Truth One News, something like that. He actually demanded it, and he went inside and he spoke to these people, and nothing came of it. But this guy's been attacked really bad. He's been gone quiet for a while. I don't know what's happened to him. But he even offered us, I'll get to Melbourne, like I said in a sec, me and a fantastic guy that I've come to know, Smoke and Mirrors. I don't know if any of you've seen his videos. His channel's been terminated as well. Hell of a great kid. He's half my age, but I just feel like he's a brother to me. I've come to meet him in the city that 4 or 5 times, and we have a beer together, and we go around the city, and we do things. We risk our life, to be honest. I mean, I'm not saying that, and I'll get to what happened to me when I got arrested by the police. So I know I keep saying I'm going to go back to it, but just finish about the YouTube. Then all of a sudden, all these channels started being hit. Fantastic how I see the world. I rate him as the best truth activist in the world. Best YouTube channel by far. I mean, if I could be half as good as getting the 1/10 as good as Robin, I'd be so happy. But he is an absolute fantastic guy, and I've become friends with him, and one hell of a guy and one hell of a worker. And if you've seen some of his videos where he makes phone calls to hospitals, and he spoke to Angel Colin.
Yeah, I remember that.
I call him Colin.
Remember the hat?
It's not Cologne.
The hat?
The hat.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Where he kept asking,
what
he's like, he was talking to Angel, and he was pretending like he was an old friend of his from high school. And he's like, remember the hat? And all this, trying to, he's
right.
just making up stuff.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, and they sussed him out with it a few seconds. They just hung up on him. He wasn't in any hospital, as you know. Angel Cole and the Dr. Lube. Or they say Lube, but it's Lube. I mean, you can go through all these names. You could go, Wayne Carver, the medical guy in Sandy Hook. I mean, the names is just. I'll tell you, just while we're at it, the best one of all is we had a guy. What's his name? He was at 3 bombings. I think he was at Boston, Brussels, and another one. He was a 21-year-old Mormon. I can't think of his name top of my head. But we saw him in Brussels where his face was just like a mummy. They put tape around him like a mummy. But within days, he was back in Utah hospital. I'm not making this up. There's a photo of him with 2 guys visiting him. His head shrunk half the size somehow. It was absolutely fake. But the guy that visited him was an elder. Mormons, they have elders, whatever. His name was Elder H. That was his initial, Oaks, O-A-X. H. Oaks.
Oh,
I'm not making this up. But anyway, we'll go back to listen my channels. But yeah, everyone, how I see the world, Russian vids, Smoke and Mirrors, all good people. Anaconda Malt Liquor, another guy here. I'm sure there'll be many other channels, guys from your side of the world, all getting knocked off. So there was a big culling of truthers. So I've got Peekay Boston, which I hadn't gone to for a year. I hadn't even gone and looked at comments or anything. I went in there, bang, in a week, I got 2 strikes. Just from nowhere, they just hit with 2 strikes. And so I put all my videos private, as others have done, but I don't think that makes any difference. Robin, who started a new channel, can you believe this? He created a video about the, what's his name? Posner's son, Noah Posner. That piece of slime. Yeah, he's probably the most slimiest creature walking this planet. His son supposedly died again in Pakistan 2 years later, or the image of his son. Can't remember his name, but Robin says it well. Aksai for something. Anyway, excuse me, I got this chemtrail cough. He made a video he uploaded it in private, and within minutes he got a strike on it, and it was private without any views. So it just shows, it's just a joke that YouTube does. But so so I'm stuck. I've got nothing. People are saying, come back. I I'm retired, and when I say retired, I'm enjoying retirement. I've got health issues I've got to get over, but I'm not crying, poor or anything. But I mean, there's a lot of things I don't miss, to be honest. There's a lot of things I don't miss. I don't want to go into it's the negativity that I don't miss. Watching all this rubbish. I don't try to watch the news, but if you don't watch the news, how else can I, report on things? But, I don't miss seeing what's going on, other side of the world, what hoaxes have been happening. I don't know if any hoaxes have happened in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Maybe there has. No, they haven't since I've gone quiet. But, I don't miss that at all. And to be honest, man, there's people on YouTube are just, they're just, I don't know, you could just describe whatever words, moronic, brain dead. You've probably been called a shill yourself, I gather, yeah? A shill?
Oh, God, give me a break, of course.
Yeah, okay. There's this fascination that probably started a couple of years ago when I had this big dispute with, I don't know, his
I remember,
New World
Jeff.
Agenda.
Wasn't it Jeff?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it, but
okay. Sorry.
And all of a sudden, the word shill was never used, and all of a sudden, it's just like every single person wants to, talk about shill, and that's what. I don't want to swear on this thing, but that's what shits me. Is that
you can cuss on my channel.
Yeah, okay. Look, I don't give a damn what the trolls and the idiots who are there to attack me say. That's just water for ducks back there. When we got supposed truthers that have come out and got nothing better to do than call me a shill, call you a shill, call Robin a shill of all people, but they've got nothing better to do. And what disturbs me is that people actually believe the rubbish. They put out a video, the most garbage video you've ever seen, and in the comment section, oh yeah, I always thought that about Peekay. And I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I got some idiots going for a while that called me out to be a shill. Not only that, a Jew shill. I'm not a Jew. I've never been a Jew. But they come out with this because of my surnames. In a way, it's sort of type it in and it comes out as a sort of Jewish name. I am not a Jew. If I was a Jew, I'd own up to it. And if I was a Jew, I wouldn't have got into this trouble that I had in Melbourne, where the Jew News Australia were the ones that attacked me and put me all over the media for 3 days, where I was slaughtered. I was like lambs to the slaughter. It was all because the Jew. As you know, you can't say the word Jew on YouTube or on social media. I had my video removed the day before I was arrested, and I called it in the title, "The Jury is Out." I spelled it Jewry instead of Juri.
Yeah.
By God, and that was removed by YouTube the day before I got arrested, and that Jew shield. But not only that, I mean, I'm an extra. I do extras work for fun. I've been doing it for 10 years.
They love posting that Nicolas Cage clip with you, or the clip of you on the game show, and all the other stuff. Yeah.
But it's me that's posted all that, because I put stuff up on my channel, which I try to be funny. I try to put some entertainment in the way I make my videos, and I'm never hidden the fact that I do extras work. Big deal. There's millions of people in Australia that do extras work or in agencies and might get a job every now and then. All you are is just someone in the background, and it's a great day. I love it because I talk to people. Where else can you go and you're sitting there doing nothing, and you bring up global warming or chemtrails or and you got all these people sitting there, and you get them involved. I mean, you can't do that anywhere, and that's why I love doing it. But yeah, I was on a game show 28 years ago. 28 years ago, and I put it out there, because it was fun. I should have won, but I didn't. But only like a month ago, someone pointed out this video showing my game show video and other images, and the video was Peekay Trans calling me a transgender. I mean, what? Am I a woman or am I a man? I don't know what this. There's no photos
Terry.
of me, wearing a skirt or a dress, but apparently I'm a transgender. But if you look at this idiot's channel, all his videos about transgender, whatever. But what saddens me is the comments. Like I said, Oh, yeah, I always thought that about Peekay and this and this. And, oh, it makes me sick. You know,
Yeah.
the supposed supporters of yours, and all of a sudden they're making comments on these ridiculous videos and channels saying they doubted me. And that's what I don't miss, to be honest. But I do miss, oh, God, I miss a lot of people who, supported me. And especially in the last days when I made a video saying I was finished, I had over 2,000 comments in like a day and a half saying I didn't realise I had so much effect on people, and I'm a pretty emotional sort of guy.
And you do.
I was in tears. I was crying, Amanda, sitting here reading these things. By God, I'm going to miss these people. And worst thing about it, now the channel's gone. All those comments are gone. I can't walk on the street and say, I'm PK Truth, and I've got I haven't got a channel. Oh, well, don't believe me, I'm nobody really. So I got, I could say that before. Yeah. Check this channel out, PK Truth or PK, Boston, whatever. I've still got that, but I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, but your PK Boston channel, there's no videos on it.
There are. They're all on private.
Okay.
Like I said, that's a way.
What happened to your attack of the trouser bomb at the Boston Hoaxathon and all those 4 videos, the 4-hour-long ones?
Yeah, they were all there, but they were in private, and they have to be
until 3 months. Them? Can we take them and put them on our channel?
Man, look, if I leave a video up there, people can actually tag them for whatever reason, and there's the strike. There's the 3rd strike. I can't do anything about it.
Oh shit!
I mean, that's what Robin's done to his How I See the World channel. That's what a few others have done. Made all the videos private. This is just a short-term thing where they've attacked us, but I doubt it. People say
that's
come
my
back.
favorite video of all time. I want to plug it. Let me plug it real quick, PK. Okay, so my favorite video of all time, of all the YouTube videos I've ever seen, is Attack of the Trouser Bomb at the Boston Hoaxathon. You can find this video on a tribute channel called PK Melbourne, and you can find like a lot of his videos there. There's also Return of the Trouser Bomb. What are the other 2 names? I can't remember all of them off the top of my head.
Death of the Trouser Bomb. That's the final now.
They are so awesome, you guys. He breaks it down like nobody's business, frame by frame, and he clearly shows that it's an obvious hoax. Okay, hold on. I want to see how long we've been going because they have questions to ask you. It's we've only been going 23 minutes. At the half-hour mark, when we have like the last 15 minutes of this particular clip, I want to give them a chance to ask you questions and put in their 2 cents.
Yeah, good. I really want to get into Melbourne and what happened to me, Amanda, because even then, the trauma I went through, people doubted me, and people in Australia, in Melbourne, who attacked me, saying I even had the nerve to say I was part of the whole Burke Street, hoax. I mean, my God. I am risking my life with smoke and mirrors, and hardly any others. There's no one here in Australia and Melbourne could give a damn about anything. And it's really, that's probably one of the things that has sort of stopped me from even thinking about going back. We planned, like I said, Sidethorn guaranteed us 20. He said 50,000, but we said, no, keep it at 20. 20,000 for a reward for anyone to show us images of a car going down Burke Street. Because till this day, 6 months on, there's never, ever been an image of a car going down Burke Street. And it's like someone just telling you, King Kong went down Burke Street and killed all his people. And, the news said that, so it must be real. But there's no image of it. And that's what, so not one single person in Melbourne is doing a thing about it. And me and Smoke and walk down the street interviewing people. And it's just like we're talking to freaking zombies. There's so much I could talk about. I'll get to that, the agendas why they did this. But like I said at the beginning, one of them was to eliminate truthers like us. It just goes to the court that, this guy's supposedly in a car. It was only 2 days ago. I was going to go, but I didn't go. The 4th time to the magistrate's court. These are his preliminary charges, not even the charges for his supposed murdering 6 people and attempted murder of 28. but these were the preliminary ones, traffic offences or some stuff prior to this. It's been adjourned 3 times, and 2 days ago was adjourned again for the 4th time. This is in 6 months. This guy never turned up once to the court. He was on video link, but 2 days ago he couldn't even appear on video link because they say he's unwell. Because the lawyer said, we think he's mentally unstable. But even though we've never assessed him mentally, we think he's mentally unstable. And the judge just says, yeah, okay. I mean, I was there 6 weeks ago, and the 3rd time, it was all scripted. It was like a freaking circus, absolute circus. This guy came up on a video screen, and apparently the news came out that night that he went on a rant. I'll tell you what he pretended to be. He pretended to be a conspiracy theorist. He mentioned the words Freemason, Illuminati. So that's where they mix the two. This guy is a conspiracy theorist, so he must be mental. And that's what he's going to get off on mental health issues. Just like this other idiot that acted out in Minto in New South Wales about 6 months ago. Probably a bit more, can't remember, time flies. But supposedly, according to our Prime Minister, disgusting piece of slime, Malcolm Turdful, his real name's Turnbull, but Turdful sounds better. He comes out the next day and calls it Australia's 9/11. All supposedly happened. It was all scripted and staged. Was a guy, can you believe his name is Isis Khan? Isis Khan.
Oh, great. Give me a break.
And this is a terrorist attack. He supposedly stabbed this guy walking down the street. Then he chased him. 59-year-old paraplegic, chased him 100 metres. He took his walking stick from him. And yet the guy ran away from him, a 22-year-old martial arts expert. It was all captured on a TV station cameras here, or supposedly security cameras there in the houses, but all staged by the TV stations. And this was channels. This was according to PM Australia's 9/11. This guy as well. He's 3 times in court in Parramatta in New South Wales. Hasn't turned up. He's also on video link. And not a single media there, no one, no witnesses, nothing. And it's just going to be people will forget about it, just like they'll drag this one on here, and I'll forget about it because the job's done. And, like I said, I'll get what agendas they had for it. But what is it, 27? You want to
I want to say something about when you're talking. I want to mention something about forgetting about it.
Amanda, I just want... Hang on, Amanda. There's a few things I want to ask you. I watched your video yesterday about the geese.
Yeah.
Okay, the geese. I think they've got the wrong place. They've got the wrong place. Surely that if they wanted to terminate geese, they would have gone to the White House. There's a bunch of geese there that they could terminate inside the White House. That's
right.
They're the geese they should have terminated. And one question, just off topic: are the homes in America all like that with massive front lawns with no fences?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are, yeah. In that neighborhood they are.
They're huge. I can't believe it. Here, we used to have blocks not as big as that, but all our front yards are fenced off. But we don't have these massive... I mean, what do they do on these green lawns? They're just massive green lawns with just nothing on them. It's just wasted land, isn't it?
Yeah, you hardly ever see a garden or something like that. You would think people would be smart and be planting food and doing stuff like that, but
exactly.
It wouldn't matter if we planted food or not. They're the pesticide trucks. I was stuck behind one last night. The pesticide trucks are murdering everything and poisoning anything. So you have to grow indoors at this point.
And the other question is, you people were walking actually on the grass. Does the property go all the way to the gutter in the street, or is that the people just walk along? You're actually
walking all the way
on
to
people's
the gutter.
properties. Sorry?
No, we're not walking on the property. We were walking on the street.
But if you walk on the grass, does that mean you're walking on their property?
Yes.
Well, so you were. There were people walking on the grass there. That's why we have fences at the front of that. We have fences at the front of each house to separate the actual people's blocks from, the nature strip or the roads. But anyway, I found that interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay.
Okay, I was just going to make one comment, and then we're going to go to Kevin. All right, so my comment was, these false flags, they're quick to hit, and they're quick to be forgotten. Look at the Orlando shooting. I mean, have you guys heard anything about those victims since? Of course not, because there were none. All right, so let's start with Kevin LaPrade. He is an amazing false flag truther. He has gone to Sandy Hook. Did you go to Boston as well?
Oh, yeah, I was there with Dan Badandi.
Yeah, with Dan Badandi. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and any comments you have for Peekay or anything you'd like to say?
Oh yeah, no, I've been a huge fan of Peekay's for years. It just proves that you're on the right path, brother. That you're doing the right thing. That they're shutting you up. What happened to freedom of speech? You have the right to say, even if you are, let's say you are batshit crazy, which you're not. You're one of the most intelligent men that I've ever watched on YouTube. I loved your videos, bro, and I'm so sorry they did that to you. But I mean, just look at his videos. Go through them for yourself. Anyone can say he's crazy, but go through the evidence. Go through his footage and find, the information, and then, decipher for yourself. Is this guy batshit crazy, or does he have points? Does he show proof, more proof than the government does? I mean, it's real simple to see these things. When I went to Boston and when you go to Sandy Hook, I was there. I can tell you firsthand that things are very not what you see on the news. Truth is stranger than fiction. Reality is not really what you think it is. You can't trust anybody, not even us. Don't take our words for it. Do it yourself. You have to do it for yourself. You can't, you can't let the cognitive dissonance or, apathy, you can't be apathetic right now. You need to, choose a side, because this is the time that, because first they came for Peekay, and I wasn't Peekay truth, who's next? Who are they going to go after next? And just because it's not you, it doesn't mean it's okay. Because you're going to be next if you don't stand up for somebody like Peekay now.
Exactly. I agree wholeheartedly.
Amanda, you mentioned at the start, why isn't an Aussie covering Boston, other side of town? And that's another thing I heard, that because I'm a shield, I was assigned the task of doing that. Can you believe it? I was assigned Boston and put out. Sense. I mean, there's not one thing in my video where I actually make anything up. Everything I've used is from the mainstream supposed images, videos that we see. If I was making it up and editing the videos, fair enough, but I'm only putting out there what they're showing us. So I cannot believe till this day that people can't see, not just Boston, but all the other events, but mainly Boston, how anyone can fall for that rubbish. And by God, fly me over to Boston and let me walk the streets of Boston and talk to people. That's what we don't have enough. Like I said at the start, with you interviewing people, but the people you interviewed, they're clueless. But the same would be in Boston as well. I mean, I'd say, I'm from Australia, and I've come here to tell you people that you have been lied to. These people, you should be confronting the Bowmans of the world and Haslets and the names top of my head, all prior amputees, for God's sake. Go back and have a look and find these people and find out that they never lost any legs. How can 15 people lose legs in a pissy bloody firecracker? And no arms blew off, no heads blew off, not a single scratch on anyone's head, but trousers are ripped to the shreds. Trouser bombers, I call it, as you know. It's friggin' laughable. These people, and there was two brothers.
It's impossible for clothes to rip off of a person, and for the skin underneath those said ripped clothes to not have any wounds on them. If your pants or shirt blow off, there's shreds in your shirt, and there's no blood coming from those wounds, that's a fake Hollywood shirt. It's obvious. And when the guy at the Boston Bomb, like you said, Madison, Peekay's video shows the guy hop out from the middle of the explosion, and he's running around with his pants shredded off, and his legs are perfectly fine underneath.
And he's back 3 minutes later. He's back in the cesspool of idiots, standing next to Pink Lady, as I call it, having a chat. And I must admit, that's one thing I got wrong. There's no way, and you tell me the two photographers that took those images, Ben Thorndike and Ha Ha Tango, just, within a second, they had the camera focused on Shredder Man, as we call it. That's 1 second after the firecracker went off, and it's focused on him. But he's already standing up, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got knocked down
he
by
would
a
have been
bomb,
knocked down. Right. He would have needed time to adjust.
To get up.
Yeah, he would have had to been like, okay, what just happened to me? Let me get back up. Let me see what's going on. He wouldn't be running. He was literally running in 2 seconds.
You'd be hurt, crying, yelling, screaming, doing something besides running around.
You'd have a look around you to see, what other people I heard. But not only him, it was that other absolute moron, Kevin White, who you see on the left-hand side of those images. He's sort of on his knees getting up, and he runs out virtually side by side with him. But not only that, he leaves his mother and father sitting there 10 yards from where he got up. His mother and father, who were sitting there like having a cup of tea at a picnic, they're sitting down nearly. I mean, a second after the bomb goes up, and they're sitting there like having a picnic. I mean, and you leave your parents for dead. And then, as we see, as he runs around the back, he hides his face because he's got captured on TV. Then he ends up sitting on a bloody wheelchair, like all of them did. A free joyride. Even Pink Lady gets a free joyride. There's so many people that didn't even get affected by the bomb who are helping out. They're seen on wheelchairs being taken away to the magnificent thing. The biggest free the world's ever seen.
The best free ride wheelchair was the Jeff Bowman. Now, if you watch the slow-mo finish line end of the Boston bombing there, it's 6 or 7 minutes before Jeff Bowman goes from getting his legs blown off to in that wheelchair, and you could see him getting wheeled out, and then his prosthetics started falling off. So they had to stop, pull his legs back up a little bit because they were falling off. But it took, I think, 6 minutes for them to get a man with two legs blown off.
He would have been dead, totally, and there was not a drop of blood the entire ride across in his wheelchair. And you wouldn't put somebody in a wheelchair facing that direction with all the blood. His legs would, his stumps or whatever would have to be up. Anybody in nursing knows that. All right, I want to give the other two a chance to chime in real quick before we go to part 2, which is going to start at midnight. Okay, we're going to start with you, Baise McGee. Would you like to chime in? Basil. I guess he's not. I see him connected. I'm not sure. Okay, what about you, Doug? You want to say anything? Boy, is anybody connected to this? I see everybody connected. I don't know why they're not here. All right, so we'll just keep going. So, the whole thing is an obvious hoax. Peekay, your videos, so what are you saying for us to do? I mean, because your videos are very important. How do you suggest that if we can find them to mirror them on our channels?
Look, to be honest, I do want to clean up a lot of my stuff on Boston. I did make a big mistake, and that's actually in the trilogy videos, which I do want to remake, where I mentioned Pink Lady, the lady that we all know. As you know, I named all these people, and, Brown Cow, some of them have become pretty famous.
Oh, yeah.
But Pink Lady, I fell for being Suzanne Bump. Can't remember her title, some top knob title there. But, I should have realised that it wasn't her, even though she looked like her. But she's apparently got to do with the Boston Red Sox. I think it's the Boston Red Sox baseball. Her partner is one of the owners, I think. Their name slipped my mind. But I did the video. If you know what I'm talking about, her husband, I assume it's her husband, was exactly on the other side of the street. Exactly on the other side of the street, standing there watching.
Looking like a CIA agent,
then they got together, and then you see him walking down the street, holding hand in hand, having a laugh. Yeah. He was non-stop on the cell phone. Even as she actually, the only ambulance to turn up at that scene, even though there were so many injured, was for the cover girl, Nicole Gross. Nothing wrong with her, as you see. She's sitting up with the shoe off. And it's important to note, in all these hoaxes, that's a symbol with the shoes off. Apparently someone told me it's an Illuminati symbol that means they consent to what they're doing. And that's why we see, even in Melbourne, we have shoes off everywhere, supposedly hit by a car. And you've got lace-up knee-high boots, both sitting, on the side of the pavement, and there's no way knowing that happens. If you got hit by a car, you'd be smashed. Your shoes aren't going to be flying off everywhere, and especially at the fireworks at the firecracker in Boston. But the husband and wife, whatever. I can't remember what their names is, and I really want to fix that up in my video. So if I lose my channel, I'll start up another one because I'll never let Peekay Boston die.
Good.
I'll say it now. Look, it's in my blood. I can't stop this. I mean, music's my life, and I'm doing a lot of things right now. Regards my greatest hobbies, finding music videos, and that. It's a hell of a job. I've been doing it for years and years. When I get that done, I don't know. It'll be months. I'll say it right here now. If people are listening, I'm going to start up a Peekay Talks channel. I do want to keep using my name Peekay, obviously, to attract the people, that are following me. Peekay Talks channel, where I'm just going to put interviews like this and podcasts that I've done. My KISS, Keep It Simple Stupid podcast, and any interviews I want to put on there. Obviously, they can't strike videos that are just people being, on the podcasts and interviews. So that'll be separate from everything else. I do want to do a separate Peekay Chemtrails channel. I find that was what I initially started doing. I got like 200 videos I need to put out there and have sitting on social media for people to see. I don't want that sort of, being wasted. And who knows, I might start up another Peekay channel and upload all the old stuff that I've got, and who knows. But that'll be in the future.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
So in that one video that you made where it said that, this is going to be your last video or whatever, and then you're showing the warning, or not warning, but you're showing where they've terminated your channel, it actually states in it that you will be unable to create another YouTube channel. What do they mean by that? Do they take your IP address? Do you have to use a different computer? Or what does it mean, just not another channel under that exact name? Or how do they do that? Yeah,
I saw that, but that's garbage. They can't do that. But so many people create channels one after the other all the time, and they're not going to stop you. They're not going to stop you. But
okay. So they don't flag your IP address or anything?
Who knows, but I don't know. I'll tell you what, one video I got a strike for on Peekay Truth, the second strike, can you believe it? Was a 4 or 5 second video. It wasn't even a video. It was just a few words on the screen saying, please go to main description for link to VidMe. That's all it was, and I got a strike on that.
Yeah, I remember that. Uh-huh.
Can you believe that? I mean, because at that time, I got a strike on a London video, I think it was, and all I did was say, look at that. I'll put that video on VidMe and just put a link to say go to VidMe, because VidMe weren't striking people, but as Robin found out from How I See the World, they terminated his channel on VidMe. So it's just going to...
Wow.
You'll have nowhere to go. I mean, there's these other sites. I keep saying to Robin and other people, look, what's the point of me going to these sites that are just wholly and solely being viewed by people who are awake? My intention on YouTube is not to have 20,000 subscribers who are all awake and who want to make comments on every video I make and thanking me or whatever. My intention of making videos is to awaken the brain-dead sheeple, as I call them, who most of YouTube viewers are, but pity they'd rather watch bloody garbage videos. Even that's the thing I wanted to say. There's a pedophile video I did a truth bomb on last year or so. That's still there. A disgusting pedophile video. That's what makes me sick. That they keep the disgusting videos like that up, and others who we don't want to see. We don't want people to see. But when we tell the truth, we get struck. But yeah, like I said, I'd rather. Like I said, I've got to stick with YouTube, because 99% of the world goes to YouTube, and that's the only way we can wake people up. And it's a great idea. I wanted to push to people is everyone that's is awake and is subscribed, they should go to all these channels, whatever personality channels, or whatever, or dog channels.
I got to cut you off.
Yeah,
I only have 15 seconds. Okay, guys, so that's the end of part 1. We're going to be back in 15 minutes, and we're going to discuss Peter's arrest, what happened to him in Melbourne, and what is the future for Peekay. All right, and I want to invite everybody, all the guest callers, to call back in, and I want to thank you guys for listening. So we'll meet you back here at midnight. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Peekay.
No worries. What do you want me to do, call back or...
Everybody needs to understand that I'm more than simply a hype man for this rap group, just like Geico is more than just a company that can save you money. Geico also has fast and friendly claim service, so they can help you when you need it most. And while I do love being a hype man, I also love reading for children's audiobooks. Like Little Bo Peep, she lost the sheep, and she don't know where to find them. Yo!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
A great family vacation doesn't last a day, a night, or even a week. It stays with you year after year. This summer, plan a trip to Great Wolf Lodge Indoor Water Park Resort, where every second is packed with adventure and every memory is one for the ages. Howl side by side down giant water slides, play indoors and out, or watch your children's face light up at the log cabin inside their hotel room. Seasons come and go, but Great Wolf memories will last a lifetime. Visit greatwolf.com for details on how to save up to 30% on your summer getaway.
Hello, this is Madison Star Moon. Welcome back. This is part 2 of our legendary interview with false flag hoax truther Peekay. We also have on the line Doug Seitz, Kevin LaPrade, Baise McGee, from Red Pill InfoWar. And so we're going to start off again. Peter, I want to go ahead and touch on Melbourne and your arrest. So you can just take it away.
Well, I jokingly said I need 5 hours, Madison. I think we do need 5 hours. But I'll be as quick as I can.
Okay.
Being in Melbourne, you're probably not aware of what actually happened there. I'll try to do it as quick as I can. 20th of January, a supposed guy drove down the main street. Oh, we'll start off from the beginning. He actually, in the main intersection of not only Melbourne, but probably Australia, he was doing donuts. That's where you sort of take control of the intersection. You go round and round and round in circles, but just doing, burnouts, donuts. That was all staged completely. You had the corners were shut off by the people who staged the event, including the police. Then he was followed down a street for trams only, followed by 6 supposed unmarked police cars. Then they captured that on camera, and then they captured him going on the pavement there for about 100 metres, if that, where not one single person was hit. But that's all you ever see of this person. There were 3 CCTV footages which were taken virtually within hours, shown on mainstream media. But to all intents and purposes, that was supposedly where he turned left into the Burke Street Mall, where hundreds and hundreds of people congregate, and supposedly went out there and down 2.5 more blocks of Burke Street, and supposedly killing 6 people, injuring 28, whatever. But till this day, there's never been any footage of a car being seen going down Burke Street. People have been fooled that the CCTV footage that we see on the social media and mainstream was Burke Street, but that was all on Swanston Street, where it was all staged. Till this day, like I said, Sidethorn's put up $20,000 for anyone. We'll never see it. Not only we don't see any footage on CCTV cameras, which are all over Burke Street, but with all these people that were there, not one bit of footage being captured by any person, put on social media whatsoever of any car going down. So it's absolutely freaking laughable. All they had was crisis actors, because they closed down the streets further up. They had police going into offices and calling for a lockdown, making out that the lockdown was because of this incident. But these people weren't aware that they were actually locked down before supposedly this car went through. I'm trying to cut this short, but what happened? I had no interest in this. This was a Friday lunchtime incident. I was doing my usual stuff on YouTube, what I was doing. I think I was doing, I know what I was doing. I was doing Fort Lauderdale videos. Remember the incident at Fort Lauderdale Airport? I was doing videos on that. Because once I get into something, I stick to it, and I was really getting into that. Then my son spoke to me that night, and my son works in the city. People, and I've been criticised by people saying that I'm a liar and all this, and I'm part of the whole thing. There's no way known that your son would have been there, but he was there. He was on the main corner of Burke Street and Elizabeth Street at precisely 1:30. That was the time the guy was 2 blocks away doing burnouts. Because by the clock on the Flinders Street station had 1:30. So he was there, and things were happening when he was there. He said police were telling people to get out, that they were taping it off. And this is well before he even supposedly went through there. But, he didn't know what was going on, and they virtually marched out everyone. Cops were there within, seconds, hundreds of cop cars, no ambulances, of course. But what happened is he noticed a guy that's been there for years. He sells magazines. We call it the Big Issue guy. He's a real homeless sort of a guy. He's been there, we thought, at least 5 years, because there was a YouTube video of him 5 years ago, sitting in the same spot, just around the corner where the mall starts. So he would have been the first person to be killed if this guy was actually drove his car. So my son actually went on the Monday and spoke to him, and he came back to me and said, yep, can you believe, Dad, I've taken photos of this. He was moved away from the pavement area, moved away so he'd be out of the way of any car coming. So it happened that a week later, me and two other guys did a walk around the city, and we interviewed this guy, and we interviewed him, and we asked him, how come he's moved out from where he usually is? He says, they asked him to move. I said, who asked you to move? The police, the council? He said, I can't talk. And I said, when was this? The day before? He says, yes. So what they did, they moved this guy the day before, and he's been sitting there for 20 years in the one spot, but the day before he was moved, because the fact is that they moved him, not because the car was going to go through, but the fact is people would have questioned why wasn't he the first person killed. So they moved him out the way, and that would have stopped anyone questioning it. So from then on, the next day, sorry, before that I actually made a few videos, about a dozen videos on Burke Street. And as we talked about Robin on how I see the world before, how he made phone calls to the hospitals and that, I thought I'd try something like that myself. There was one crisis actor, I don't want to sort of mention names or anything, because I'm on a 12-month intervention order on this person who I don't even know, don't even know what they look like, don't even know if they exist, but it was supposedly a mother of two daughters that one was killed, supposedly, and the other one was had a leg damaged. But what happened, I made a few videos about a funeral. She supposedly was in a coma for 5 days but couldn't attend her daughter's funeral, a Jewish funeral. I called it something to do with jury being out, as I mentioned in part one. That was taken off YouTube the day I came home from my walk around Burke Street with two guys. Next morning, I'm on my way to golf at 7 in the morning with my friend. I got a phone call, 7 in the morning. It was Australia June News. They were questioning me about a certain person that I made videos on, blah, blah, blah. Cut it short, said, I'm not interested in talking to you. I got a call 2 hours later from my son while playing golf, panicking. My ex-wife of 13 years, she works just by chance at the Royal Melbourne Hospital where this person was staying. They phoned the hospital. God knows how they knew she worked there, but she wasn't actually there. They spoke to people at the hospital. My ex-wife was hysterical that the media was all over this. Then I thought, by God, what's going on here? The media's all over this. Then half an hour later, I realised that's not the mainstream media. That's the Australia June News. I rang my son back and said, tell your mother not to panic. It's just this idiot from Australia June News. Then what happened that night, I stayed at my woman that I was seeing at her place. I used to see her like once a week. I got a phone call at 8:30 that night on my mobile cell phone, senior sergeant from the homicide squad. And when you get a call from the senior sergeant from the homicide squad, you start thinking, oh, my God, what's going on here? And by chance, I wasn't there, but my brother was there because I'm a carer for my aging mother. And when I go out, my older brother comes in and stays instead. He just happened to notice that the lights, 2 cars parked outside the front, and they're coming through the gate, and he went outside, and they questioned him where I was, and certainly found out I wasn't home. That's when they called me from the car. The guy asked me, didn't order me. He said, "Can you remove the?" Well, the first thing he said is that the videos I'm making on Melbourne are traumatising all of Melbourne. That was his
Right.
words. I was traumatising all of Melbourne. Can you please remove the videos regarding this woman and her family, whatever. I said, I'll do it on one condition. that you show me a car going down Burke Street. He says, look, I'm not getting into that. He says, why? He says, oh, it's under investigation. I said, well, how come there's videos, all over the media of the car going down Swanson Street? He says, look, that wasn't there. We couldn't do anything about it. The media got hold of it. But as we found out with me and Smoke and doing our investigation, we interviewed one of the shops where a camera which was, can you believe, placed outside a month before. All these new cameras were there for a reason a month before to catch this footage that they wanted to show. This is the Swanson Street footage. All brand new cameras.
Right.
But we spoke to the manager. He said, yes, I gave the footage to the police that day. To the police that day. And we found out this 6 weeks, 2 months after my arrest. So I couldn't sort of say to the sergeant, oh, yeah, we know for a fact that he gave it to the police. But he lied to me. He said, it went to the media. But cut it short, I had to go, when I got home first in the morning, can you believe, because of my video being removed the previous day, I had a 2-week suspension on Peekay Truth. I was, if you get 2 strikes. So I had to go on Peekay 22. I made a quick video, just me talking, thanking everyone. I'm a bit traumatized. I don't know if I can do any more. I didn't expect this to happen to me, blah, blah, blah. That's all I showed. This was about 8:30 in the morning. Come 2 o'clock that afternoon, I get a phone call. And this is one of the agendas, as I mentioned, from the Mental Health Authority. They want to do a mental health assessment on me. I said, what? What's this garbage? Said we were referred to us by the police. And I said, I'm not mental. I can't remember the things I said, but that conversation went for a few minutes. Lo and behold, an hour later, banging like a bomb went off, and there was policemen knocking at my door, or banging at my door. And like I said, my mother's sort of in bed right near the door, and I'm sort of panicking. How's she going to feel when police are coming to arrest me, whatever. I open the door. There's a male and female cop. I said, what's wrong? Says, you're under arrest. And I'd never been in that position before. I didn't question, have you got a warrant to arrest me? Show me why I'm arrested. I just sort of, I just didn't know what to think. But my first thought was I had to get him out of there in case my mum got out of bed and asked, so what's going on? Being an older mother and worried about me being arrested by the police. Could have been different. I was, living back on my own again. But then they said, I said, what am I being arrested for? Oh, you made a video this morning. I said, so what? I made a video. I didn't have any order not to make any videos. I deleted all the other ones. That's right. I deleted all my videos on Peekay True because you could do that even though you're suspended. I gave in. I said, all right, take me away. At first I said, can I get my stuff? And they followed me into the house, or the woman did. I said, can you get out, please? I don't want you near. And she did go out. I grabbed my phone, my wallet, and my keys, and I went out. They went out the front gate onto the nature strip, and then they sort of searched me, the search up and down on my nature strip. It took about a minute. Then they threw me in the back of we call it a divvy van. Most uncomfortable thing you've ever done. I don't know if you've ever been thrown into one of them. You're treated like... I wouldn't say you're treated like a dog. You wouldn't even treat a dog like this. There's nothing to sit on. It's just hard plastic. And the thing about it, January is the middle of summer here, and it was stinking hot. And that threw me in the back of that. I think, please get out of here. I don't want the neighbours seeing this. They sat there for like 3 minutes to dehumanize me. I'm telling you,
exactly.
They're probably going through my wallet and my phone and looking at everything. But on my street, we've got these humps. They want to slow down traffic, so they got these humps. They made sure I felt every one of them. Anyway, 10 minutes later, I arrive at the police station, and I can hear the grill of the door opening and closing. And I thought, thank God, let me out of here. I'm nearly dying, I'm sure they got the heater up in my little cabin, whatever you want to call it, while they got the air conditioning where they're sitting. They made me sit in there for 10 minutes. Honestly, Amanda, I felt like I was going to die. I was nearly going to... I didn't scream. I was just about to. And he opened the door and said, why did you take so long? There was someone before you or some bullshit lie. But then, get this, they marched me in. There was 4 cops on either side of me like I was Charles Manson. I don't know what I've done. I put up a video. And here they marched me in. They stood me on the mug shots and all that. And they and I'm in front of the glass screen, and the cops are standing over side of me, and he's rattling on all this thing about an intervention order. I don't know what he's talking about. What do you? What's this intervention order got to do with anything? Sorry, I failed to finish. When I made that phone call to the hospital, that person supposedly they said wasn't in hospital anymore, was in rehab in another hospital. This is like 5 days later. You know, you've come out of a coma and you're in rehab already? I mean, it's freaking laughable. So I rang up the other hospital, cut it short. They didn't want to talk to me, said people were blocked, and she virtually just hung up on me. And in my last words, I said, she's a fraud, something to that effect. Anyway, it was all because of that video where I got an intervention order on this person. That's when they gave me the papers. This was a Thursday. They gave me the I thought they were going to interview me in the police station. They threw me into this cold room. They said, we'll be back in a minute. 20 minutes later, after freezing, 2 women walk in with the guy that arrested me. They were from the mental health. I said, what the hell's this shit? They wanted to assess me for my mental health. And, man, you want to... They make you out like an absolute idiot. There's nothing you can say about anything. They said to think questions like, do you hear noises at night? They made me out to be an idiot. And that was one of these agendas. Like I said, the guy, Gargonzola, they make out to be a conspiracy theorist who's going to plead mental health issues. They made out me being a truther, whatever you want to call me. One thing I failed to point out then, I should have, like, you class yourself as a independent researcher, journalist, whatever.
Yeah.
That's something I never used. I should have used that from the start. But, you know, hindsight, I couldn't think so. You know, my mind was just sort of in a blank. Here I am,
everything's
stuck
different when
in
you're
a
in
prison.
custody.
Honestly, I don't know, what am I doing here? 30 minutes later, whatever, they said, I will be back in a second. 20 minutes later, they come back. They gave me an appointment for the next morning for another mental assessment at the office. What the hell? So then I thought, well, we'll be back in a minute. 20 minutes later, they said, oh, you can come out now. I thought, where's the interview? There was no interview. They stood me in front of the sergeant again and blah, blah, blah. Gave my money back and whatever. And the worst thing, I said, you're going to take me home, aren't you? Yeah. They threw me out the door. They made me stand there for like 5 minutes, no one. I went inside the front entrance. There were 3 people waiting to speak to someone in the police station. No one came to him. I went outside. No one taken me. I went back in. Those 3 people were still there. 15 minutes, those 3 people waited in the reception area. Meanwhile, they had 8 cops standing doing nothing on either side of me, dehumanizing me. And all they did was end up giving me an intervention order. I did go to the mental health thing the next morning because I had no advice from anyone. I didn't know what to do. I virtually walked out of them at the end. I said, this is bullshit, you know, after half an hour. And I stated the case to these idiots. You've heard of Sandy Hook, vaguely. He says, well, you don't know Sandy Hook? I said, that's when all those 20 children were shot. Oh, yeah, we know. Well, do you know Robbie Parker? I says, no. Well, how about this Robbie Parker in a suit and tie that night or whatever? His child was murdered in cold blood, and he's smiling and laughing before a press conference. Do you think that's normal? And they said, oh, you know, people react differently. I said, I didn't say
give me
stuff.
a break.
You're calling me mental? You 2 are the fucking mental. Sorry, I'm getting upset here because it brings back memories. They're out to call me mental, and they said, oh, people react differently. If anyone reacted like that, oh, my God, put a ball through their head. It's not normal, for God's sake. But anyway.
Yeah, no
rational
person would be laughing.
Yeah, but it gets worse, Sandy, Amanda. That night and for the whole weekend, I was all over the mainstream media, not on TV, thank God, all over the social media, the main networks here. My name was slandered everywhere by June News, by they're all playing the recording of me making a hospital, saying that I am one of the sickest persons on the planet. I'm traumatizing the mother of a dead daughter of the car thing. And the June News was saying I was the most anti-Semitic person on the planet because it referenced in my video of the funeral. If you hadn't seen it, it's absolutely laughable. Not one single flower or photo of this supposed dead girl. And I just said as a joke, I know Jews are tight asses, but you could put a few flowers at your funeral, couldn't you? And because of that, I'm the most anti-Semitic. I don't want to get in this Jew shit because it's all freaking makes me sick. The sympathy that they want, it's happened since the Holocaust, the hoax, sorry. But I was all over the news for 2-3 days. My daughter was hysterical. And I didn't know what to do. I was more popular, getting more views than Donald Trump, can you believe? Donald Trump had just become president a week earlier. And here I am in the top of the views. I said, how am I going to live this life now? And I got a front court on the Monday, St. John Magistrates Court. I asked for people to support me. 5 people came. There was no media, of course. You know, they don't want to bring this up in the media. They don't want any of this to get attention because people might think, hey, this guy could be onto something. Of course not. But they made me out to, you know what, they made me out to be a failed actor. This bullshit failed actor.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I've got nothing to do with that. My whole career in 30 years of work life, I've been an analyst programming computers. And I actually, to my regret now, I developed the payroll system in 3 years, in 91 and 94, 1991 and 94, at the Herald and Weekly Times. Who were the bastards who were putting these articles about me and slandering my name? And here I am, I developed their payroll system. I feel like going there and bloody, destroying it. You know, it makes me sick that these disgusting, filthy media just absolutely slaughtered me. So I went to court, and I had no, I got legal aid, free. Just got some idiot to help me out. No help at all. Just said, I'm just going to plead yes, accept the intervention. I said, listen, I don't even know who this person is. I've never been anywhere near this person. I don't even know what they look like. How can I have all these restraints on me? I don't even know what this person looks like, for God's sake. I could bump into him at a supermarket and she'll go, oh, that's you. You're breaking the intervention order. I don't freaking know who you. And she came back to me after speaking to the police prosecutor saying, oh, just go on the social media and you'll see what she looks like. Amanda, there was no photos of her anywhere before, after, and even in the 6 months after the event of this person. No, because they don't want to show these people since that event. Because from what I've done, exposing them, they've just silenced them. They did their job. They've had other shows, of course, where they interview the mother and father of the supposed 3-month-old dead baby, because it pulls the heartstrings where you got the little babies involved. Of course, that's how they do it. But not a mention of these, I can't mention the names, whatever. I've got a 12-month intervention order on them. And that silenced me. And I said, I can't do anything because I can't make any videos. I don't know what I can do. But slowly, after a month or two, I said, stuff this. I'm just going to keep doing what I was doing. But I can't get into details talking about them or showing them in any images or whatever. But give it another 6 months, boy, am I going to get back into it. If there's one thing I want to get back into it, I have got a moral obligation to wake the friggin' world up about what happened in Melbourne. No one here gives a stuff about it. Like I said, my friend Smoke and Mirrors, hell of a nice guy. Fantastic videos he made on this. Like, I'll tell you just one thing on it. When I said that mother and father were interviewed about the 3-month-old baby, I'll cut it real short. They had a pram, a 3-month-old baby, and a 2-year-old in a double pram being pushed by, not the mother. The mother just happened at that time, says, oh, look, I'm just going to do some errands. She had a nanny, for God's sake, in the city with her, take the kids away. And just so happened it was at that time that the car supposedly hit the nanny, pushing this pram. So the car would have hit the nanny first, but there's never been any mention, any interviews, who the nanny's name is, never a single thing about the nanny. But can you believe the pram supposedly flew 100 metres? The 3-month-old flew 70 metres and landed right in the middle of the pavement. But the best one, this is fair dinkum. The mother and father said, yeah, they weren't there, but they said the 2-year-old flew 150 metres. 150 metres being hit by a car and sitting in a pram. If a car hits a pram, it either just goes up and hits the windscreen and goes sideways, or it gets squashed completely. A child doesn't fly out a friggin' 150 metres after being hit by a car, and not only that, not an injury. Unscathed after flying 150 metres. If you know what 150 metres is, just imagine New England Patriots football ground. it's more than the length of the football field. A baby supposedly flew in the middle of a city. No one knows where it landed, but a policeman supposedly picked it up and threw it in the back of a cop car and said, this baby has to go to hospital without, any question. I mean, that's how freaking laughable it is. So that's in a nutshell what happened to me. Like I said, idiots are doubting my story. I'm not here to make bullshit stories up about being arrested. Why would I do that? I had no respect for police before that. I got zero respect for any police. I could not give a shit about them. What they did to me, I found out when I spoke to this guy in court who was there in the bench case as well. He was told he got a phone call by the police to turn up to the police station to be questioned, and yet here I get thrown into a van, dehumanised, and the way they treated me, they didn't harm me physically, but my age, they did that to me. Normally, if you have an intervention order on someone, it's usually like a domestic case, like someone just won't leave the ex-wife alone or something. I didn't even go to anyone. There was never any physical contact anywhere near this person, whether they
you committed no crime.
And you get a warning or two, or something has to be actually done. But they hit me with that instantly. Of course, it was there. The homicide squad were told silence this guy, because obviously they know who Peekay Truth is, because he's made videos on all the other bullshit that goes on. Because there's no one else in friggin' Australia. Like I said, I'd be doing this 100% still if I had some support, and me and Smoke and Mirrors had support. We asked for people. We're going to print off T-shirts with the $20,000 reward on it, make out flyers. And I asked for people. We had a meeting. No one turned up. One guy turned up, and a couple turned up. This was before the court case when I said in May where this idiot didn't turn up. No one could give a stuff, because they expect me and a few others just to do everything. In a city of like a few million people, and no one's prepared to do anything. And it's so obvious. I'm telling you, Amanda and guys, if you think Boston was obvious, this Melbourne thing is 1,000% more obvious that nothing happened, no car went. I mean, there's just so many things about it. If you look at the footage of these idiot crisis actors, and it's, God, where do they get these people from? I do, like I said, extras work, but God, never ever, has anyone talked about crisis act. Where do these scum come from? We know Carlos Arredondo, that they used him because of it. He supposedly blew up a military van after he was told his son was killed. And when he woke up in hospital, he says, we got a job for you, and we'll look after you, mate. Just, be our star actor at the Boston Marathon. That's where they get these criminals from. And I'll just go back to Boston now. I'll tell you about, if you've seen my videos about Carlos Arredondo, all the interviews, I mean, every man the dog wanted to interview him on that day. How did they know he did anything? Oh, yeah, we'll believe your story. But no, they all wanted to interview this guy. He said he was handing out flags opposite where the bomb went off. He jumped over the fence and he jumped over the other fence. Clear as day, the videos that I made show he started meters behind the finish line in the middle of the street, not in the middle. He was actually on the side of where the bomb went off. You can see him running. He didn't jump any fence on the other side. He starts running about 5, 6, 7 seconds after the supposed, or probably 10 seconds after the firecracker goes. You see him running without a hat and a flag. You see him sort of disappear right where he goes to where the fence is, and that's where he picks up his props, the flag and the thing, and was especially set up for him to climb over that fence. If you see him climbing over the fence, you can't climb over those trestles. You can't, because they're so flimsy. But they had a special part there for him to stand on the climb over, if you've seen the image of him climbing over. And then all he worried about for the next 5 minutes was to pull down the friggin' fence. Oh, but he was the one that saved Jeff Bowman, the guy that sat there for 5 minutes bleeding, with 2 legs blown off. We should have been dead within 90 seconds because of, artificial splurting. Oh, no, but he was the hero who threw him in a wheelchair, whereas the only ambulance and gurney they give to Nicole Gross. Oh, no, we'll just stick it down and we'll have a cameraman filming him, head-on coming down with him holding, supposedly without a glove, stinking dirty Costa Rican no gloves, holding the guy's supposed, arteries, and there's no blood coming anywhere, and he's being pushed down the street, and he's got, what's worse, Bowman's got no leg support, and one arm is holding his left leg, where it's just about to fall off. He's balancing himself like he's been on a wheelchair for all his life. No hands, no legs, and yet this guy's supposed to, 8 minutes earlier was, had 2 legs blown off, and he should be traumatized. He looks as calm as any person can be.
Right.
Wake up, America, for God's sake.
All right, exactly.
Sorry.
Peter, okay, so I want to give our guests that have been on the line with you, a chance to make comments to you or ask you any questions, and we're going to start with Baise McGee. You've been listening online. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
Actually, I'd just like to say, hey, Peter, you are a kind of a phenomenon. You're kind of a folk hero. I don't know if you realize it, but they're very extremely afraid of you because you have a unique perspective. Not only the fact that you have acting experience as an extra, so you have on-the-ground experience on what should happen and what shouldn't happen when people are acting. At the same time, you have intimate knowledge of Melbourne because you live there. And you have been tearing this thing apart like no one else. I watched all your videos. I followed all your videos. And everything that you showed completely tore this PSYOP apart. So I congratulate you. And if you ever want a spot on my blog, you've got it. I'll make you an account. If you want to write instead of doing videos, you're welcome there. You're welcome at Red Pill.
And what's your I'm sorry, excuse me. Let me get my thoughts together. What is your web page?
It's redpillinfowar.com.
Okay, yeah. And you've done a lot of work for me as well. You support your local activists, and we really appreciate you. You do great work. I love your videos. I love your production and your special effects.
Shucks.
And you're good. You're the one that made me all of my intros for all of my YouTube videos. Without you, I would be using my generic, iMovie stuff. So you're awesome, Baise.
I like your
Anything
iMovie
else
stuff.
you'd like?
Thanks.
Thank you. Anything else you'd like to chime in about?
No, I think we're over on time anyway, so I want to give everyone else a chance to speak out as well. So.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us.
I just wanted to say, it's very nice meeting you, Peekay. I respect you very much, and I think that you're a great man. I appreciate you, and I applaud what you're doing.
I don't know what to say. I'm pretty humble. To think that there's people, I'll never even meet the other side of the world who actually think I'm doing something. I can't accept that I'm really, till this day still can't understand how I'm doing much. But I don't know. I don't know why.
You did a lot to wake people up. You were a first for many people to wake up to what PSYOPs are. You woke up a ton of people, including some of the new truthers out there.
It was never my intention. It was never my intention to do anything that I've done. Amanda knows chemtrails was it, and along came Boston or Sandy Hook prior, but Boston was the big one, and it all stemmed from Boston. I don't know what hit me. I said I went from one thing to the other, and I'm not going to leave any stone unturned here. I am just going to go through every single thing I can find. If we can expose one of these hoaxes, especially a big one like Boston, they all connect. We connect the dots to all the others, and the world will wake up. And that's what I said here in Melbourne. If we can expose what's going on, there's no car. We can prove there's no car. We not only expose the media, the police. We even expose the hospitals who are involved in the hospitals. We expose the mayor, the local council. We expose the state government, and we expose our prime minister and the federal government. So who else? What more can we expose? If we could bring them all down, the whole world will change overnight. And it only takes a few hundred people in Melbourne to march the streets and protest and demand for footage of this car. And if they can't produce it, well, wake up. We could see that it was all
why
staged.
they had your channel shut down on purpose, because you were just too dangerous for that PSYOP. You and Cythorn coming into Google. Cythorn going into Google and saying, look, we're going to keep making noise, we're going to keep making... They shut him down. You guys are a big threat to them. They're afraid of you.
And that's just it, Peekay. And I'm here in Yuma, Arizona. And I don't see people waking up to the fact that they're being duped. I'm trying to make people wake up to the fact they're being duped. Everything, my life, I'm 59 years old, and my life has been a lie. and I'm telling you, it's a lie. I've seen it. I've seen the cartoons. I've seen the news. My dad, when I was back in 1969, my dad told me, you need to watch the world news on TV. What is the world news tonight? A bunch of shit. I mean, what? Oh, sharks off the coast, whatever. I'm telling you, the whole thing is a ruse, and nobody gives a damn. We can sit here all we want, and I know we try hard to make this point, but nobody cares, because if it doesn't affect them, they don't care.
They're too scared. They're too scared to realize that they've been duped all their life. And that's something that you've got to accept. We all had to accept it. We had to cross that line and realize that, yes, we have been, we did believe in all the lies for 90% of our lives. But you have to change. And once you've woken up to the lies, you just can't go back. And you see things differently. You turn the news on, you know straight away within a second that they're lying because they open their lips, the news readers. You know, that's how you can tell they lie. And what have we got? The moon landing, for God's sake, 48 years ago. The biggest joke in history. And if you tell someone on the street that no one went to the moon, they'd look at you stupid. I mean, it's an absolute laugh what they've done to us with regards to moon landing. 9/11, for God's sake, it's been 15 years, 16 years. And to think that people believe that planes flew into two buildings and made them collapse in 57 minutes, get a break. No planes went into any buildings, and buildings just don't turn into dust like Building 7. Oh, no, we don't even know about it. 15 years later, no, we don't know about Building 7. You know, you could ask how many people here, they wouldn't have a clue about Building 7. Wasn't hit by a plane, but it collapsed in perfect bloody synchronicity.
And I'm going to say one thing right now, and everybody write it down. What went on with Obama and his birth certificate and him usurping the whole United States will come out in 50 years. You mark my words. It'll come out in 50 years because they don't want you to know about it right now.
I was going to mention the birth certificate. 8 years that clown was there, and they did nothing about the birth certificate. Absolute joke. There was supposed to be 100,000 people marching in Washington. What happened to that? You know, it's fake ass, and the guy was a phony fake, just like all the other presidents, George Bush and this clown that we got now. And the thing is, what you're going to laugh about, it's probably the same here. We know we have a two-party paradigm. Who started this two-party paradigm shit? We got this belief that we elect all these people. There you got the Congress. Here in Australia, we have all these states, 7 states. We have all these electorates. We vote in 100-something people to be our government, right? We got the belief that we've got 100-something heads put together to make laws and whatever, but we don't. We have two. We have two parties, and when you really look at it, we have one. The two parties are controlled by one, so we don't have any people that are debating issues or whatever. They're all done by one single person who controls the whole sticking system. And people, that's the biggest joke about it. We should have 110 independent people.
Hey, now hold it. I'm getting the gender, whatever, and I agree with being a pineapple. Now, you've got to agree with that.
What?
He's getting triggered.
Okay, hey, I want to give Kevin a chance. Kevin, I need you to chime in because you've been waiting. Did you have something you wanted to say?
7 minutes.
Oh, yeah, well, no, I just, I want to, agree with everyone else. Peekay, you did, your videos have gone down in history for so many of us. So, your work you've already done, and thank you so much for all you've done, and just keep doing whatever you truly feel like you want to do. Like if you want to keep making videos, keep doing it on other platforms, or if you want to do something else, or if you want to retire. If you want to do that too, you can do that. It's your right to do that. You already will live you'll live on history for me. You're one of the people that, when I was on YouTube and I was looking for other people like me, I found, Madison too. I found you guys, and I felt like connected to you, even though I never were, with you on your shows. And now I'm talking to you on your shows. So it's like we're doing what we're meant to do. So just keep doing you, brother. And, we're doing amazing things together, collectively, in our own ways. Like, we're trending right into the mainstream media. They're talking about us. We're trending into the presidency. He's talking about us. So they're talking about us, guys. So the new counterculture is conservatism, and it's us. And, we're going to do our part to try to save or salvage what is possible. I mean, I think it's too far gone, but, I just want to applaud all you guys. Like, what we've done, is amazing. And I thank you so much for all you guys' hard work. And just I'm huge fans of all yours.
Yep, you too.
Thanks for the comments. Amanda, just quickly, I know we're running out of time. We all know that the mainstream media is our greatest enemy. The greatest enemy, that if it wasn't for the mainstream media, none of this shit would be going on. And I just want to point out something. When I went to the court case for this guy about 8 weeks ago, can't remember, something like that. I'll just make this real quick. We sat in the court. The case went likely to be 5, 6, 7 minutes. All the public stepped out as one. And the guy that sat next to me was, he was an ABC News, supposedly journalist, jotting down notes. Anyway, I wanted to speak to him outside the court. When I walked out, he followed me. All of a sudden, there was like 8 media people in a circle. 8 media people that came out of that room, laughing and joking. And I pointed one out, the tallest guy there. Didn't know who he was. I said, "How about you start doing some proper investigating, you idiot?" And he smugly lifted his hand up, pretending to have a piece of paper, and he repeated what I said. They all laughed at me. Then I started talking about the cars and whatever, and they started walking away from me. I cut it short. We got to the lifts, and they followed, and I said to one of them, "How do you sleep at night?" And you know what? He looked at me and he laughed at me. He says, "We sleep really well," and he laughed at me. And I felt like really thrown, I'm not a fighter or anything. I felt like smashing him in the mouth just like the others. They were all in on it. You could tell. If anyone was in that courtroom, there was only me and a few other public people. The whole thing was an absolute circus, and they were part of it. They knew the whole script. They didn't have to take any notes down. But cut it short, when I walked down the steps to speak to the 2 friends I had, this guy walked down, and I confronted him again, and I gave it to him big time. And it turned out that this guy was the one on the main channel that night, 6 o'clock news, standing there, reading out word for word what was virtually said in that court case, how he went on a rant. But, as per usual, you don't notice this, but he was wearing a suit and tie when he was on the 6 o'clock news, whereas when I saw him there, he was just wearing a shirt and pants. He's gone back to the studio, got his script and the idiot sheet, and he stood in front of a green screen. But they made him look like he was standing out the court on the steps.
Yeah.
And that was so obvious. You couldn't tell that if you watched the news, but I picked it out straight away because, of course, he was wearing different clothes and he'd gone back and he was reading word from an idiot sheet. They stand there making out like they're talking from their heart. They don't. The whole thing got a big idiot sheet in front of them. That's why I wanted to go 2 days ago, but I ended up not going because no one wanted to come with me. I don't want to do this all on my own. I don't know if he would have been there or not, but I want to stick a microphone under his frigging mouth and any of these reporters and give back what they give to us and make them look stupid. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, we only have 1 minute left.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, go ahead, real quick.
No, I was gonna say the funny part, PK. You know the irony of it is, you know what we call a BS court. I don't know if you have the saying in the state, like we have in the state. We call it a kangaroo court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we call it the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
kangaroo
that's
court.
Right. So hilarious.
We only have a
like
minute left, or probably less. Yep. Sorry, Peter. I got to cut everybody off. Go ahead.
All right. I said
okay,
the Boston
so I'm just
court
saying,
case.
where can people find you, Peter? Like, I mean, is there any type of a platform we can still follow you at?
Yeah, I'm under a rock in Melbourne, in a suburb in Melbourne. You find me under a rock.
Okay, well, I'm going to make a YouTube video from this interview.
Like I said, I'm having a rest. I'll be back with Peekay Talks and Peekay Chemtrails and who knows what. I'll give it another try, but just give me some breathing space. I mean,
Daddy, where do babies come from?
Honey?
Mommy went to the store.
Oh, well, you see, there's a mommy and a daddy, right?
Right.
And see, when they call Geico, they could save a bunch of money on car insurance.
Oh, really? And that makes them happy?
Yes, that makes them very happy.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, Sunshine.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Hi, you've reached the High Fashion Hotline.
Hi, my daughter's starting school, and she wants to make a great first impression, like dress to impress.
Take her to Old Navy.
Old Navy?
Yes, all kids' styles are up to 50% off. Get cute tees and active from $5 and jeans from just $10 at Old Navy and OldNavy.com.
Up to 50% off all kids' styles?
Yep, and Old Navy has a new kids in-store shoe shop. All shoes for kids, like sandals, high tops, and flats are up to 50% off, too.
Up to 50% off all shoes? Old Navy? Here we come.
High Fashion, Old Navy. Valid 7/24 to 8/9. Excludes in-store clearance.